You know those conversations that just work? You start off with this big, tangled mess of a problem, and somehow you end up with a crystal clear path forward. It can feel like magic, but it's really not. There's usually a powerful structure hiding just beneath the surface. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you the blueprint for one of those conversations. So it all starts with a feeling I think we all know way too well. That sense of being stretched in a million different directions. And that's exactly where we find Brandon. He's just having a hard time. He's stuck in that yes trap, saying yes to everything, and now he's spread so thin, he's worried it's all about to come crashing down. It's that classic state of just being totally and completely overwhelmed. And that right there is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When you're stuck in that quicksand of stress, or you're trying to help someone who is, how do you actually steer the conversation towards solid ground? How do you pull a real, actionable plan out of all that chaos? Well, it turns out there's a really powerful and surprisingly simple framework designed for exactly this. It's a guide, really, a way to lead a conversation from that vague feeling of, I'm overwhelmed, to a very concrete, here's what I'm going to do next. And it's called the GROW model: goal, reality, options, and way forward. Just 4 simple steps that give you a roadmap. As we break down this conversation, you're going to see exactly how each of these steps helps engineer that amazing turnaround from total chaos to total clarity. Okay, so let's dive into the first step. G is for goal. Now, this is the crucial pivot point. This is where the whole conversation stops looking backward at the problem and starts looking forward to the solution. It's all about figuring out what better actually looks like. And boom, the entire dynamic of the conversation shifts with this one simple question. What's really fascinating here is what isn't being asked. It's not, so, what's wrong, or why is this such a problem? Instead, it's, what's your desired outcome? That question instantly reframes everything towards finding a solution. And just listen to Brandon's answer. It's not some vague thing like, I want to feel less stressed. No, it's super concrete. Success, for him, is having a specific strategy in his back pocket, being able to say yes but or yes and to manage all the requests coming his way. He needs a way to negotiate deadlines without just saying no. And just like that, we have a clear target to aim for. So here's why that's so important. By setting a clear goal, the conversation suddenly has a destination. It goes from being a venting session about feeling overwhelmed to a focused mission, which is, how do we get Brandon to a place where he can confidently say yes and? All right, let's move on to the next letter, R, for reality. Think of it like a GPS. You've plugged in your destination, that's the goal, but now you have to figure out where you are right now. This is the reality check. Now, the real power of this question is how simple and non-judgmental it is. It's not, why are you letting yourself get so overwhelmed? It's a completely neutral, fact-finding question. What's happening currently? It just takes all the blame out of the equation and just asks for the data. And Brandon's answer is just so raw and honest. He doesn't say he's busy, he says he's spread too thin. And then, the key word, he's starting to be resentful. Wow. That one word uncovers the true emotional cost of what's happening to him right now. See, this step is absolutely essential because it defines the gap. The goal, a confident yes and, is way over on one side of a canyon. And the reality, feeling spread thin and resentful, is right here on this side. Now the challenge is crystal clear. We got to figure out how to build a bridge to get from here to there. Which brings us perfectly to O for options. So we've defined that gap. Now comes the fun part, the creative part, where we actually start brainstorming how to build that bridge. What are all the possible ways we could get from this reality to that goal? And again, listen to the language. It's so open-ended and empowering. Words like options, strategies, things you might test out. This is not about giving advice. It's about sparking creativity without any pressure, and it puts Brandon right in the driver's seat to come up with his own solutions. And look, it works. 2 really concrete possibilities come up. First, maybe he can delegate this task to someone else. And second, he circles back to his original goal, that yes and approach, but this time with a specific timeline attached. All of a sudden, these aren't just vague hopes, they're real, tangible strategies. But, having great options is one thing. An idea is just an idea until you actually commit to it. And that brings us to the final, and you could argue the most critical step, W, for way forward. It's time to go from brainstorming to action. So, what are you actually going to do? This question is just brilliant, and for two reasons. First, it focuses on the immediate future with the words right away. And second, it checks for commitment by asking about confidence. It's a really subtle but powerful way of asking, so are you actually going to do this? And there it is, the payoff. This is the result of the entire journey. Brandon doesn't just have a fuzzy idea. He has a concrete action. He's found something specific that he feels confident enough to do immediately, renegotiating those deadlines. He has a plan. Let's just pause and really look at this transformation. I mean, think about it. The conversation started with someone who was feeling challenged, spread thin, resentful, and even fearful. And it ends with that same person having a clear action to try, something he can implement right away, and a new sense of confidence. That is the power of a well-structured conversation. So the big takeaway here is that the GROW model isn't some rigid script you have to memorize. Think of it more like a mental map. It's a framework for asking better questions, questions that can guide anyone, including yourself, from that awful feeling of being stuck to feeling empowered and in control. This is just such a powerful tool to have, whether you're a manager, a friend, or even if you're just trying to coach yourself through a tough spot. It's a reliable way to get to clarity. So the only real question left is, what challenge are you going to grow through this week?